Mr. Aftab Ahmed Khan, the former Joint Commissioner of the Mumbai Police, now joins us. Mr. Khan, good morning. Thank you very much for speaking to us on Republic. Mr. Khan, there's a man who heads the Mumbai Police. He's on the run for about 231 days. He goes before the Supreme Court and he says that I fear for my life from the very force that I headed for so long. What do you make of this? And this man then has to come back and join the investigation after coercion from the Supreme Court.
I find that scandalous. I frankly find it ridiculous that a man who was Commissioner of Police can claim to be scared of his own police force, which he headed for so long. If he's scared, then what about the common man? Who's going to have any confidence in the police force? If the Supreme Court had not forced him, he would have probably been hiding somewhere in a hole in Chandigarh and sending lawyers all over the country. I mean, people were alleging that he had gone to Russia and he had gone elsewhere. Couldn't he have at least come out and issued a statement? Could he have come and surrendered to the court and said, all right, I don't trust the Bombay police. I think they'll harm me. Here I'm surrendering to the court. Keep me in judicial custody. But this is the most stupid thing I've ever heard. I feel ashamed as an IPS officer that a colleague of mine, a junior colleague of mine, who had worked with me earlier in Nagpur, could behave in such a fashion, such a ridiculous fashion.
Right, we've been speaking to several senior police officials, now retired, of course, and the one thing that, Mr. Khan, that all of them seemed to suggest was that it's a little impossible to believe that a man claims a threat to him. And this is a person who's supposed to safeguard the law. This is a person who's, in a sense, supposed to serve the cause of justice. He comes out and says, I'm scared. But he also went on to say, if he was an honest man, he would come out, he would face the law, he would not be scared. Is that something that you agree with?
How could you possibly believe it? Do you think a person of the standing of Paramveer Singh would be knocked out by the Bombay police, or for that matter, any other police? Would anyone do anything so blatant when the entire press, the entire media is focused on him, the judiciary is focused on him, the entire opposition is focused on him? I think anyone is capable of believing that. I don't think even a kid would believe his story. I don't know what was his reason for hiding for so long, and I think if the Supreme Court had not intervened, he would have probably kept absconding until all his property, whatever is available on record, is seized.
Right, Mr. Khan, appreciate your speaking to us on Republic TV on a day that a person who's been on run, a top cop for 231 days, finally makes it to Mumbai, where he faces several cases against him.
All right, let me also go across to Swapnil Kothari now. Swapnil, good morning to you, rather good afternoon. You've been through and through with us when it comes to the entire case that has been ongoing. And someone who has been a proclaimed offender, is his real hope really the top court now? Because it is the Supreme Court who said that come out first, tell us your location, and then we'll think about what needs to be done in the case, also granting him interim protection.
Good morning, Amita. I'll tell you something. This is unfortunate in any country that it is always the top court that has to guide all of us, that has to guide the sitting top police officers as to what they are supposed to do. I mean, you are a former police commissioner of the financial capital of the country. You come out there and say that you are afraid that your own people are going to kill you. Even if that to a certain extent is true, even if that may be the case, aren't you ashamed of saying something of that nature? Aren't you supposed to be, as part of that police force, supposed to protect your own and say that, okay, I'll deal with them on my own accord? And if you so fear, then you might as well, surrender before the court of law, saying that, okay, put me into a judicial custody yourself, because that is one of the other options that is available to somebody who fears his own life. Now, this is something which is absolutely shocking as far as I am concerned. And the court did express that this is getting curiouser and curiouser. If you remember the words of Sanjay Kishan Kaul, Justice Sanjay Kishan Kaul, and he said that if what hope awaits a common man when a police commissioner himself is afraid of his own force. So this is, then today when you come out, suddenly you decide to land up in front of, the crime branch of Mumbai and say that, okay, now I'm going to, submit myself to investigation. So all along, whether, the state and the center both are responsible for this, in my opinion, because both have shielded him in some form or the other. to ensure that, okay, he goes to a court of law, he says that, any lawyer will tell you, even a first-year law graduate, that when you say something that my life is fear, I'm afraid of that, the last thing that the court will do is, no, you please go ahead, let them arrest you and let them kill you. No court is going to say that. Court is going to grant you interim protection. So once you are granted interim protection after such a long period of 230 days, and then you come out here and then you submit yourself before the processes of the law. Now, be that as it may, whatever it is, der hai durust hai. Let's hope that now the Maharashtra government eventually decides to vacate that interim protection. Because unless you vacate the interim protection, what is the point of investigating a person and, asking him all sorts of questions? And even if you have so much incriminating material somewhere against him, then you are unable to arrest him because there is a court order hanging over your head. So that's the first thing that you need to do simultaneously. At the same time, go before a court of law saying that now this gentleman has submitted himself to the process of the law. So please don't shackle our hands to go ahead and arrest him. We need to do that because otherwise the court order will come again and again there will be an issue. So this game of musical chairs will keep on going on. First it was between the center and the state, this musical chairs, and now this should not be there between, the court crafts. These are all court, Nupur and Amita, these are court crafts. This is what lawyers employ. This is what we lawyers are very good at. We know exactly how to bide time, how to gain time. And if we are holding a brief for a client, even if it's somebody who is accused of multiple FIRs, even if it's the former Mumbai Commissioner of Police, we will do that because that's what our brief is and we are supposed to do that. But at the same time, what I'm trying to say is that if you are a Mumbai Police Commissioner yourself,
Mr.
you
Kothari,
need to have faith in the law.
Mr. Kothari, I wanted to ask you a lead-up question to that. You said this is a game of finding time, of making time, and that is something obviously he's managed to do.